Instead, an eerie silence as the guitar riff carries just a little bit louder in a venue without boisterous support. And as the Concacaf anthem rains down, we can truly say there's a new chapter in the history between Motagua and Olympia, and that is certainly saying something given their history dating back to 1929. It's the first time these two sides have met in international competition sanctioned by Concacaf. The handshakes are gone, no love lost regardless. The captains meet, Benson and Rougier. The flip of the coin. The referee hails from Mexico. Escobedo's got a very difficult job in front of him. The referees and the players are making their way out to midfield at this stage. Much has been written about Pedro Trollio, the manager for Olympia, a teammate of Diego Maradona on the 1990 World Cup team. A moment of silence for the loss of a true giant, a legend, Diego Maradona, this past week at the age of 60. Pedro Trollio tweeted yesterday, "The soul hurts, always in my heart. Dear friend, you're already at peace. Proud to have been by your side. My family and I are going to love you all our lives." The former teammate of Diego Maradona. A look at the starting lineups for tonight's Super Classico fixture. Trollio sending out this starting 11 for Olympia. Chirinos and Leveron started their most recent game in CONCACAF League against Managua. They both sit. Paz and Bernardes move in. Diego Vasquez making much more drastic changes. Galvaliz, Decas, Morera, and Melendez move in. Notably, Clusener, the leading goal scorer in the Honduran Apertura, begins on the bench. Number 9 for Motagua. Olympia has some critical pieces available as well, including Leveron. Whistle in hand, waiting for the signal to begin. Olympia, Motagua, for a remarkable 254th meeting all time. A remarkable 92-year history between these two clubs. Motagua begins left to right. Away from Galvaliz. Paz. A foul, Marquin to ground. Well, you can hear it in the Honduran capital city. There are no fans in this venue, but you can clearly hear fans outside the venue tonight. Got away from Lopez. Played forward, Marquin. Marquin commits the foul. Early on, this referee trying to keep a calm in this game. One with Both managers referring to the heart needed to play her biggest rival in a match of this magnitude. It's Pineda who was tossed. Motagua unbeaten in their last 4 against Olympia. That stretch runs just 3 days beyond 365. Olympia's last win, the last day of November 2019. Before that, Olympia had won the previous 3. Thrown ahead, Benson. Went down far too easily. Flores. A throw for Motagua. 18 rounds of penalties against the Guatemalan side, Comunicaciones, in the preliminary round. They trailed by 2, 49 minutes in, and remarkably still found a way to advance. Struck forward, cleared away. Jonathan Pass moves back into the starting lineup. He missed the round of 16 fixture due to what was described as muscle discomfort. Collected by Rodriguez. Taken back by Motagua. Santos. Leading Lopez. Pass is there again. Marcelo Santos. Edric Menjivar looks on. Santos delivers. That blocked. Cleared by Pineda. Benson tries to hold this up. Reverts all the way back to Rougier. Of the quarterfinals, this the only instance in which both teams came back entirely negative in their pre-match COVID-19 testing as regulated by Concacaf. No matches were delayed as Concacaf protocols appropriately followed. Down goes Rodriguez, free kick 1. It was Kevin Lopez. Commits the foul. He's now had a couple, and the referee reminds him of that fact. Edwin Rodriguez awaits and delivers. Well short of Jerry Benson, the target. Rodriguez recovers. Play will come back to an earlier push. Referee trying to play advantage. Or it's cutting underneath. Galvaliz. Dangerously so. Flores walks forward for Olympia. Flores. Header snapped wide. First look at goal comes from Arboleda. Well, feathered ball with two big targets making those runs. Arboleda missed the first leg against Montreal in Champions League. The good news for Olympia, still in good position in Champions League. Defeated Montreal Impact 2-1 in their first quarterfinal. Concacaf just announcing this week the fixture dates and times for the quarterfinals to continue in Orlando, Florida in the United States. Begins in about 2 weeks' time, believe it or not. And Olympia's one-goal advantage will carry over. They'll play the second leg out. Olympia charging and firing. This is wide. Rodriguez making a marked impact in the early going for Olympia. Has a little bit of sizzle in his game tonight. 20-year-old, already 2 caps for the national team in Honduras. So often we see these clubs put young players out into the shop window in competitions like this. Can truly change a young player's life, a strong performance in this competition. Galvaliz. Deflected from Isagiri. Morera. Menjivar doesn't mind this at all. Steered down, Rodriguez continued to chase, and Arboleda over aggressive on his charge through. It was Arboleda who was front running. It was Benson who made the contact. Portillo, muscled off the ball. Marroquin, taken back by Flores. Flores, once upon a time, one of those young players who parlayed strong performances and opportunities overseas. Flores, a stint with Vancouver over 3 years in MLS and the USL Championship with Whitecaps FC 2. Driven ball over the back line. Benson, Rougier. Portillo to throw. Into Tegucigalpa. Scoreless between Olimpia and Motagua. More often than not, these are not lopsided results. Few, if any, expected to be so tonight. Rodriguez, Flores. Comes out the other side, Casildo. Rougier. Matias Galvaliz. Argentine playmaking, string pulling midfielder. Marcelo Santos. Flores won the ball cleanly. Rodriguez Flores. Counter press, sending Olympia trailing away. Benson. Nunez. Nunez, Arboleda. Two goal scorers, terrific with their head, leading the line for Olympia. This is the kind of service that could truly end up undoing Motagua in the back. Team without their best defensive aerial threat in Juan Pablo Montes. Could be a feast tonight for Houston Arboleda. Juan Pablo Montes, for what it's worth, 4 headed goals, a CONCACAF League record, and 5 as a defender, also a CONCACAF League record. He's out tonight after surgery on cartilage and meniscus in his knee. The positive prognosis. Motagua into the penalty area, out to Mallorquin. Flores. Room to run, and Pineda continues. Rodriguez. Clever idea by Portillo. Rodriguez blanketed, back to Portillo, rolls this across. This is a foul. One wonders what the facial expression is from Jerry Benson under that mask. And Rozier goes to work. The 2018 CONCACAF Goalkeeper of the Year finalist was the Honduran Goalkeeper of the Year. Helped lead Motagua to the first of 2 appearances in the final in CONCACAF League in the preceding 2 editions of the tournament. Last year fell to Saprissa in gut-wrenching fashion, 0-0 in aggregate. It's a free kick conceded by Flores, who swings his arm once, then up a second time, and the referee in good position. I would argue that the officiating thus far in this tournament has impressed. Mallorquin still gesturing to his face. He'll walk away now. Bilio Castillo, certainly go-to goal scorer for Motagua. Galvali's their best striker of the ball. Castillo scored 10 goals against Olympia, most of any Motagua player in the truly historic rivalry in Tegucigalpa. Galvali's floats. Contact between the heads and the referee, despite Olympia running the other way. We'll call for a stretcher. So there's the contact to the head. Arboleda, he remained up, but it's Moreira gesturing lower. In this stage, even Jonathan Pass, the player for Olympia, is signaling to the bench that Motagua player may need to come out. Motagua manager Diego Vasquez. Atala is the team president for Motagua, said in the media this past week with his contract coming up in May, Diego Vasquez may be difficult to retain financially given all the success at Motagua. 2 international finals the past 2 years, and into a quarterfinal with 2 chances to qualify for Champions League again this year. You saw Pedro Trollio in the lead up to the match. Mentioned before the game, a teammate of Diego Maradona for Argentina. He so often has spoken ahead of international matches when asked about penalties. Has experienced June 30th, 1990, the World Cup quarterfinal against Yugoslavia. Argentine team that finished 0-0. The end of extra time, had to go to penalties. Both Maradona and Trollio missed their penalties back-to-back. Trailed going into the second half, the 4th round of penalties. Those 2 were the last standing in a penalty shootout among the team in the preceding training session. He's spoken so fondly of Maradona over the years. His loss tragic, but personal in a different way to his former teammate. That was a clear handball. Portillo's fist extended out. And it's Galvez. Initially signed on a 1-year deal. He's maintained his citizenship within the Motagua squad. Galvez went short. Santos closed down appropriately. Lopez. Santos. Well, you see that signage in the background, El Más Grande de Centro America. It's quite clear, the commentary that one can say that exudes about their local rival Motagua. Portillo, service over Arboleda. Rozier scoops it up and quickly sends this down. Ridden from behind. Throw Motagua. Castellanos. Scoreless 20 minutes in between Olympia and Motagua. The stadium they share with touches of Olympia favoritism by virtue of their home standing in the match. Morera is down again. Have a look at this. He was behind Milo Nunez. And for Morera, who had already gone down once, this could be end of the line. Elvin Casildo goes to check on him. Could this be it for Morera? Make life far more difficult for Diego Vasquez. Morera, the Paraguayan, in his second year with Motagua. Walter Lopez is beginning to loosen. That Walter Martinez. So he hobbles off, and we'll see if Moreira is indeed finished in this match. The 5-sub rule is in play in this competition, with 3 windows and halftime. So it's not nearly as painful to lose a player at this stage. Certainly not part of the game plan for Motagua. Pass. Flores. Lifts it long. Nunez appealing that this was going to be a corner. Motagua certainly knew it as well. A throw instead. Referee is pointing. And at the stoppage of play, first substitution of this match, it's Roberto Moreira replacing Walter Martinez on the bench. A like-for-like change. Pass. Portillo. Arboleda. Rodriguez. For Olympia. Arboleda walks this back to Luzier. Mallorquin. Decas played it forward. Bernardes. Free kick, Olympia. Over the disgust of Emilio Izaguirre. Earlier today, Alajuelense of Costa Rica knocked out Real Esteli from championship contention, 2-1. Moving into the semifinal. Take on the winner of this match, Real Esteli, into the playing game. Take on the team that fails to advance. Every goal critical. Service here over Benson. Arboleda was on his backside. Play continues, and now a foul from Pineda. All the while, Melendez appeared to be taken out in the lead-up. That's the play that ultimately drew the whistle.
Pedro, yo voy allá, tranquilo, Pedro. Están más preocupados por lo que pasa afuera, por los pequeños detalles que por jugar fútbol.
Good start here by Nunez. Arboleda. Well, you could hear one of the officials, it appeared, trying to tell Pedro Trollio to remain calm. a moment ago, as the physicality of this match, part of the enduring legacy of these two teams meeting. Flores, surrounded by blue shirts. Flores bowling through Galvaliz. Now Arboleda goes over the top. And Arbeleda's gonna go into the book.
Pero no te aceleres, tratamos de estar haciendo.
Arboleda shown yellow. He's so big, so strong.
Damas y caballeros, su atención.
Sometimes to his detriment.
Para el futbolista del Club Olimpia Deportivo, con la camisa número 19, Justin Arboleda.
Arboleda picks up what's the first card of this match. Leading ball tipped away from Bernardes. I doubt many people lost that prop bet. The idea that he'd be first in the book. The idea that after all the fouls we've seen that was the first shows a bit of patience from a referee trying to allow this game to find its own rhythm. Beginning to find that a bit untenable as we've moved along. 28.5 minutes in and scoreless still. Long diagonal ball skips under the foot of Kevin Lopez. He's able to pick this up near the flag. Came out toward Castellanos. All the while Rodriguez. Multiple players go down. Galvaliz helped to win it. Martinez. On the starting 11. Will play, one would assume, the majority of this match now. Coming on for the injured Roberto Moreira. Haas into the back of Lopez. Castellanos, Galvaliz. Arboleda, shoulder down Marquin, following up after Melendez had posted up Arboleda. Great control. Ultimately win this foul by Arboleda. Challenge into the back of Pineda. Pineda's asking for a card now. And that was just a bit reckless by Castillo. He's had less of the ball, one would imagine, than he had hoped. Can you imagine this with 35,000 people packed in here? Free kick, Olympia. That's short. Galvaliz. Melendez. Galvaliz. Estadio Tiburcio Carias Andino in Tegucigalpa, a longtime national stadium of the Honduran men's and women's national teams. 32nd minute, scoreless still between these two superpowers in Honduras. Driven all the way down and scooped up here by Menjivar. Olympia, 31 national titles. Motagua 17 and a runner-up 13 times more. Motagua's been to 3 CONCACAF finals in the Champions Cup era. They've been to 2 CONCACAF League finals. This ball flicked towards the net and over the line. Olympia scores first. But Rougier is down. Plenty to think about here. Olympia continues to row the boat forward. What a clever chip this was. And it felt like it came out of nothing at all. This racing run around the edge. Very much onside. And Nunez chips Rougier into the net, and Olympia takes the lead. What a moment for Milo Nunez. Said he always dreamed of playing at Olympia. Talk about how difficult his childhood was in years past. Debuted at 18 years old for Motagua. They, by his estimation, did not value him appropriately. And over the last 5 years, he's moved across multiple clubs, lands at Olympia, and scores against his former team. So Motagua, the one who now has to be the aggressor. Olympia grabs the advantage. The 2017 CONCACAF League champion. All 3 former champions in CONCACAF League this year. Contact. This is just outside the penalty area. Bernardes to ground. Well, difficult vantage point for the referee to decide whether that was inside or outside the penalty area. The contact certainly began outside. Continued in. This is the right call. The referee certainly got this right. So a free kick, Olympia trying to double their advantage 10 minutes short of the break. Portillo, Rodriguez away. A lot of room left at this near post. That wall needs to do its job. If they flinch, Motagua could be down 2. Rodriguez curls. If you don't hit the target, it's an irrelevant argument. Goal kick for Rougier. Missed the final 2 years ago. Broken toe. Fireworks continue to explode outside the stadium. most mischievous moments in CONCACAF League history happened here relating to Olympia and a firework. Benson, good pace driving forward, came off of Castellanos. Santos. Towards Santos, he elevated his boot. He knew he'd be another player in danger, dropped it quickly. Motagua rewarded for their persistence, winning it back to Rugier. Calvalese. Santos for Galvalese. Menjivar. Olympia foul in the air today. They have been strong and at times overeager. Santos. Nutmegging Flores. And leading ball, Castillo! Wide. Not his first rodeo, certainly not his last. 5 goals in CONCACAF League in 2018. Whisker outside the post, a chance to equalize for Motagua.
Hey, ¿quién va aquí, Carlitos? ¿Quién va con 34? Voy yo. Anda Edwin. Jerry, cerrate, Jerry.
Lopez saunters to the ball, quickly puts it in play. Isagiri. Player goes down Marquine, this service all the way across. Just needed a tap in from Castillo as he climbed the ladder. Well, Marquine remained down, and look at how close Castillo was. Wesley Dacus, fraction behind him as well. And this is Menjivar. Myler Nunez, 32nd minute, and what a goal it was. Not in behind the defense on a direct ball up the right side, chipped the goalkeeper from close range. Well, play was allowed. Continue there briefly, and now the whistle blows. A yellow card handed to Bernardes. And an Olympia foul here. As watch this right leg come down on Melendez. Not a bad save afterwards by Rugier for what it's worth. He'll never get credit for that, but the reaction was decent.
Damas y caballeros, su atención. Tarjeta amarilla.
This comes down to Santos. There is no second leg. There There is no game in which Motagua gets to change the signage in the venue. This is it. And perhaps if you're only going to play one game, this is the most neutral of neutral sites in the region for a Super Classico. In Tegucigalpa tonight, Olympia Motagua meeting yet again for the first time in a CONCACAF club competition. Played back by Martinez. Castillo trying to keep a beat on that, it's out. Another look at this ball. Castillo, simply magnificent finesse at the end. And a rare moment of exuberance from Pedro Trollio in a trying week. Lopez. Flores maintained for the challenge of Galvaliz. Continued through Mallorquin. Pushed up by Casildo. Driven up by Nunez. Appeal for a handball. Instead, it's a foul by Benson. Bouncing ball into the wide area, and again, argument to the official. Flores corralled that. Galvaliz pursuing. Inside to Mallorquin. Portillo. Quite clearly a Motagua throw.
Ahí Santos.
Mallorquin. Castillo. Paying forward Izagiri. Menjavar. Didn't have nearly the advantage they expected there, so Nunez goes to work again. 45 minutes gone into stoppage time now. Two additional minutes. That a handball leads to a free kick for Olympia. About 100 seconds to go before halftime.
El cuarto oficial ha indicado que se acercan de estos primeros 45 minutos.
Rodriguez beyond pass. Arboleda, the only one sprinting for that. Portillo. Rougier. Bounces down, cleared by Nunez. Pineda. Castellanos. Rodriguez. Santos. Calvalese. Chip through Menjivar. Holds on to that, may take us into halftime. "45 minutes down, 45 to go in this Super Classico. Opening goal from Myler Nunez. A rare goal for the 23-year-old outside back. A gorgeous chipped finish to give Olympia an advantage over their bitter rival. Olympia over Motagua at halftime in Tegucigalpa. Olympia 1, Motagua 0. A look at opening half highlights between Olympia and Motagua. Pedro Trollio's former teammate, the legend of the game, Diego Maradona, passing away this past week, remembered by the players, the referees, all those in the venue tonight. And with that in mind, we began what is Super Classico in Honduras, number 254. And it was Olympia who had the better opportunities in the early going, but simply couldn't put the ball on frame. Edwin Rodriguez from 20 yards out. Myler Nunez, whose name we'll hear again, seeking out Arboleda. He steered it wide. But this was the magic moment. Casildo played it forward, and Nunez with a bit of magic. Ambition in a dream. He throws his toe out at it, flicks it toward the net. A golazo to give Olympia the lead. Rougier came up on the wrong end of this. He'd be attended to afterwards. But Nunez, the former Motagua player, felt he was undervalued at the club. Not undervalued in this moment by Olympia and their celebration. Casildo responded nearly 5 minutes later, swerving this just wide of the post. Motagua's best chance of the opening half by a wide margin, taking us into the break at 1-0 Olympia. A look at first half statistics. Motagua more the possession in this first half statistically. 20 fouls, and a lot of them were fairly ruthless. 2 cards, both belong to Olympia players, Bernardes and Arboleda. They'll both need to be careful going into this second half, but it's Olympia that has the ultimate advantage at halftime. Nunez the goal, 32nd minute. Castillo, the only real good look for Motagua in the first half. It's Olympia 1, Motagua 0 in Tegucigalpa.
By Johnson, second opportunity.
See the flight of the ball. Their shot coming! Oh, what a strike! Club America.
Rossi, Rossi, oh my goodness, he scored!
Sanchez! It feels like a lifetime ago since our last champion was crowned.
Win the Champions League!
The game we loved the most was suddenly halted. But nothing stops champions. It was only a matter of time until we were back. Back to where we belong. Here to be champions.
Olympia and Motagua. 45 minutes in the books. Myler Nunez has the goal in this CONCACAF League quarterfinal fixture. Super Clasico 254 in Honduras. Earlier today, Alajuelense defeated Real Esteli in the third quarterfinal. Means the winner will take on the Costa Rican side, Alajuelense, in the semifinal. Saprissa and Arcai on the opposite side of the bracket have already secured their pass. Loser moves into the play-in game, which has no bearing on who wins this trophy, but does ultimately decide the final two positions for Champions League in 2021 out of CONCACAF League. But if you reach the semifinal, you're assured both that critical ticket to Champions League and also a chance to fight for a trophy over two more matches. Here we go, second half underway. Motagua and Olympia. See what Motagua can do in the second half. Clusener comes on. Leading goal scorer for the Honduran Liga Nacional at this stage. 8 goals in the Apertura. Driven forward, simple header. Flores grabbed at the arm of Galvaliz. So said the referee. Yandi Sagiri, longtime former Celtic player, 7-time champion for Celtic, 175 domestic appearances. Returning to Motagua after an 8-year experience overseas. Step Castellanos, but Olympia is the one who carries forward. Portillo taken out by Lopez. Flores. Rodriguez. Olympia scored in the 32nd. Myler Nunez, the go-ahead goal. Step to Rodriguez. Rodriguez once more. Leading all the way to the end. Pineda. Cleared out. Victor Castellanos has covered a lot of ground in this match. This was a corner. Corner Olympia. Service headed off target by Benson. Or you can see the gesture. You decide. Certainly not enough for a penalty. Perhaps laying the groundwork with that argument. Pineda. Melendez. Rougier. Sophisticated out of pressure. This is good work. Get across midfield. Martinez. Isagiri. Martinez. Isagiri once more. Galvaliz. Martinez. Good turn, Benson. They'll bring this back. I think this is a good argument for Benson to have at this stage. I think you should feel really hard done by this. I think he handled that perfectly. And so it's Galvaliz. For Motagua in the 51st minute. Motagua team still in this competition by the skin of their teeth. Lob that high. Heel by Decas, and indeed, this is a corner. Decas, the former FC Juarez player, time in Portugal, but also with Atlanta United 2 in the USL Championship in 2019 on loan. What a wild combination of players this is. Galvaliz and Isagiri. It is Isagiri. Well, the whistle came early on in this. There's the push. Clear and obvious. Menjivar with Olympia since 2014. 27 years old. Came up through Arsenal, the second division Honduran side, close to Motagua. That fell through. And has really come along these past few years for Olympia, including debuting for the Honduran national team back in 2018. Service here, Castillo. There's Menjivar. What a job Menjivar did against the Seattle Sounders in Champions League earlier this year. 7 saves. Helped to force 2 Sounders misses as well. This is Decas. Well-defined. Rougier looks on when he faces a free kick from Rodriguez here. A decent way out. looking to serve to the head. Benson Arboleda, one would argue. Rodriguez. Benson was the target. Flores! Oh, Golazo! In his wildest dreams, he doesn't imagine that. 2-0 Olympia. The former Whitecap, top of the mountain for Olympia. 2 goals up, 54th minute, 2 golazos against their biggest rival. Came down to him, he takes it off the half volley. This is absolutely splendid, superb ball striking. It'll haunt Rougier's nightmares. Magnificent. Wow. Soak it in. Davy Flores. And now Motagua, for the second time in this tournament, will try to come back from 2 goals down. Nunez in the 32nd, Flores in the 54th. Well, you'd have to argue that neither of those players are the ones you thought would win this classic match. Yet here we are, stripped off the foot of Arboleda. Rougier. Olympia came in with swelling confidence. A 5-0 victory over Progreso, but they hadn't beaten their biggest rival in their last 4 tries, stretching just over a year. Castillo getting to bubble over here. And this is a throw for Olympia. You can tell just why he's so animated. Castillo had a chance to equalize this in the final minutes of the first half. And instead his side now down 2. Just over half an hour to go. Service laid low. Lucinaire the target. Rodriguez pirouetted the other way. There's going to be a card here. This is Kevin Lopez nipping at the heels of Rodriguez. That's the first card issued to a Motagua player. Arboleda and Bernardez are on yellows for Olympia. Play continues. Arboleda, too high for Bernardez. Scored the finishing touch in a 6-0 win in the round of 16 against Managua. Are Olympia elevating themselves to favorite in this competition at this stage? They go through the Haitian side Arcai and two Costa Rican giants, Alajuelense and Saprissa, will remain in. There's a high likelihood that in order to win this trophy for a second time, Olympia would need to knock off two of the three best teams this year from Costa Rica. Play comes back. Nunez would have had a good chance at a free kick. Martinez is shown yellow for this. This was Flores. Look at how late that is coming in. Unnecessary from Martinez. Benson for Bernardes. Cavaliz. Martinez. Foul. Rodriguez. And the chippiness picked up significantly as we approach the hour mark. Teams picking nits at that moment. Cavaliz, Flores. The energy is picked up defensively for Olympia. Rodriguez launched himself at the player, but it continues through close and air. And into the wide area. A foul on Santos. Catches Flores right here. It's going to be a wildly difficult game to officiate over these final 29 minutes, that I know. Service again. This bounces somehow. Rougier able to steer it over Bernardes. Putting his head to that. Unlikely amalgamation of events. Izagirre deflected it off Bernardes. Certainly wouldn't have complained if that had counted.
Dale, dale, hey. Hey, no dejemos que quede hasta el final, cabrones, dale. Muy fácil, hermano. Muy fácil, dale.
Leads to a corner. Rodriguez, there's a player down in the penalty area being attended to by the referee. There's a swath of players around Hector Castellanos. And Jonathan Haas gets back to his feet. It's a yellow issue now. Lucinaire. 3 yellows to Motagua players on the field currently at this stage, all coming in the last 17 minutes. Service here quickly. The Olympia players were wise to it. Skied up, Lopez gives chase. Galvaliz into the mix as well. There's a tug there, there's a throw from Motagua. Isagiri. Galvez. The stadium would be a bubbling cauldron under normal circumstances. Bounding ball with a skip from Lopez up to Menjivar. Martinez. Flores there. Castellanos, Galvez. Castellanos. Isagiri. Martinez. Muscle down, free kick, Motagua. Zelda Casildo toppling. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. Lopez awaits. Lopez caught by Menjivar. Look at Menjivar launch this forward and launch an Olympia attack. Nunez, strong touch leading. Nunez continues but a foul. Nunez, 32nd minute. Flores, 54th minute. Both goals to make their rounds on social media tonight. Arboleda looking to hold off Lucena. Good back heel by the Argentine. Served wide, didn't reach all the way into the channel from Castillo, who's playing deeper right now. Trying to help create something. Lucena leading the line now. Can one of those two provide a spark for Motagua? Galvez for Lucena. Castillo! Big rebound recovered by Menjivar. No fans in the venue, but they are loudly and proudly singing outdoors. Myron Mendez starting to maneuver for Motagua on the touchline. Could he come in a moment? Positive step, Flores. Rodriguez.
21 por 31.
Flores. Continued to battle, won the free kick. Two changes coming. Omar Elvir joining the aforementioned Byron Mendez, the former Olympia player. Usagiri comes out. Kevin Lopez, who's playing on a yellow, comes out as well. No time left. Motagua to wait. Now used 4 substitutions and 2 windows. The change for Olympia is their first. Jose Pinto comes on. Marvin Bernardes, who's on a yellow card, comes out.
Con la camisa número 34,
Unlike Motagua, not to have a response at some point. Newly inserted, turning that away, Elvir. Racing up the line, Martinez, the second half substitute in his own right. Castillo. This field was played on yesterday. There was some talk about the condition of it. It looks fine today. Marathon had to play here rather than at San Pedro Sula due to the damage suffered through the tropical storms that have ripped through Central America. Saprissa came here one-handedly. Another look at Arboleda. Stood from behind by Mendez. Benson asked to chase. Paz shielded it long enough for Rougier. Fear starts to run forward. Galbali's head instantly dropped. That ball well off the mark. And watch Benson. Did he stay on side? He didn't. Narrowly with Paz. And I think it's much closer than it may initially appear. Great step. Excellent step by Christopher Melendez. Castillo sets play. Now Galbali's. Elvir. Martinez. Decas. Lost by Mendez. Flores for Olympia. Good touch forward. Rodriguez goes down. That's going to be a card. Melendez going into the book. If he doesn't commit that foul, there are 3 white shirts carrying on into the box and an unimpeded service soon to follow. Two yellow cards in the first half, both to Olympia players. 4 in the second half, all to Motagua players. These are the 2 most successful teams by wins in the CONCACAF League in its 4-year history, each on 9. Olympia looking for their 10th, looking for a 3rd goal here. Easy catch for Rougier. This is Castellanos. It's been a bit dull in this second half from Robilio Castillo. No Motagua player has scored against Olympia more, 10. No player in Motagua history put a bulge in the old onion bag more often. Walking legend at the age of 29 for one of Honduras's most notable clubs. Martinez. This was a guaranteed 35,000 seat sellout in any other environment, any other climate. And in this COVID-19 pandemic, while this game continues, while hundreds of thousands of eyes around the city of Tegucigalpa and around Honduras are trained on this game, none in the venue. Martinez. It's easy for Menjivar. Motagua spoke about needing mental strength. Counter an adversary like Olympia. That's precisely the calling card that they had against Comunicaciones. The 18-round penalty shootout after being down 2 goals in the second half. Martinez needs a moment of brilliance. It's deflected by Casildo. Quarter of an hour to go for Motagua to try to turn this thing around. Quick restart. Elvir. Galvaliz. Great win of the ball high up the field. This takes a deflection off of Martinez from Mendez's shot. Oh, Walter Martinez making this a dynamic play here. And the step at just the right time by Casildo. Olympia remains in command. This is Melendez gesturing to his calf. Motagua's going to make another change. For Matias Galvaliz, you saw moments where you could see the brilliance, the 31-year-old Argentinian player. His ability to orchestrate. Felix Crisanto comes on. This is the 5th and final substitution for Motagua. Crisanto, who was called into the Gold Cup team for Honduras in 2019, primarily a right back, placing the true number 10 by jersey and by position. Decas. Seeking ball for Elvir. Elvir shoved off by Nunez. I don't know that it would have made a difference if Marcelo Pereira or Juan Pablo Montes played in this game. Both such critical defenders for Motagua out with injury. One does have to wonder as we continue on here. Motagua being one of the best defensive sides in Honduras, allowed 2 tonight in the fashion that they did. Mission accomplished for Arboleda. He himself doesn't score, but he was a handful throughout. And on comes Eddie Hernandez, the former Motagua player, 23 goals in blue, trying to score against his former team here. Hernandez. Decas really battling away at this. Kept it in, rolls it the other way. It's a swarm of players around. Eddie Hernandez stepped in there. Play continues for Motagua with a strong-willed presence in midfield by Walter Martinez. Elvir. Flores arguing that had already crossed the line before his touch. Mendez. Nunez and Flores have scored in this one. Truly masterstroke goals Olympia closing in on their first win against their rival in just over a calendar year. They're closing in on a berth in the Concacaf League semifinal, a guaranteed berth in the Champions League in 2021. All the while, in 2 weeks, they'll make their way to Orlando, continue on against Montreal Impact. This service hammered off the crossbar. That's how close Motagua was to getting back into this. Mendez lays it forward, Castellanos. Hernandez combining. Pinto. Pineda. Olympia will play Montreal up a goal. They'll play what's a pseudo second leg, although at that neutral site in Orlando in about 2 weeks' time. So they're still in the 2020 Champions League with a chance to go to the semifinal there. They're on the verge of the semifinal in CONCACAF League, and they're on the verge of grabbing a ticket to Champions League in 2021. You'd have to say for Olympia, who are second right now, but the only undefeated team in Honduras's domestic league, 2020 on the field has gone nearly as well as they could have hoped for all that's gone on away from the field. Slide in there from Clousenaire. He's shown his second yellow. He's sent off. Comes in the 81st minute. He lost the ball. The frustration took over. That late slide there, they deem ultimately dangerous enough for the second yellow. Clousenaire is likely never to agree with that.
Damas y caballeros, su atención. Recorre la amonestación. Sale del terreno de juego.
That was his most significant addition to this game. He came on at halftime. Now Motagua down a player, down 2 goals. And a regrettable attempt at finishing there. Clousenaire actually coming off the point closest to him. Happens to also be closest to the underground locker rooms here to Tegucigalpa. And 2 players down, Rebilio Castillo being spoken to by Nunez. And Olympia players are calling for support here. So Castillo being attended to, the entire Olympia team going over to the injured player and the athletic training staff. Those are some glum faces. Diego Vasquez and Pedro Trolio looks over, worried about a different issue at this stage. It appeared to come off the head. This Olympia player, Castillo, will not need his stretcher. Flores, magical. 52nd minute. Certainly made this feel a bit out of reach. And a smile will likely lead to a picture worth 1,000,000 words in the local press tomorrow. It's lift over for Paz. And he's already sprinting around the field and to the halfway line. Quickly shaking off that clear discomfort he was in a moment ago. There's Hernandez. Pinto plays it aside. Pinto again, throw Olympia. Motagua down 2, down a man. Out of subs, without a lifeline, with 5 minutes to play. Hernandez, Pinto. Pinto. Rodriguez off the deflection. Nunez. Nunez. It's a 3-man game of time wasting. It's bouncing across. Melendez. Crisanto streaks in front of him. Motagua on a 4-match win streak. In their domestic table, they're just 1 point above Olympia. Win and a draw this year in the Apertura between the sides, favoring Motagua. And the 2-time runner-up may well go down, the 2017 champion in the quarterfinals. And you'd have to say, from the moment this bracket came out, it's a matchup everybody wanted to see, but one that you'd have to argue was going to be unlucky at this stage. This feels like a semifinal or a final, simply not meant to be. Rougier. Time is of the essence now. Surprise nobody if these teams met again this year in the playoffs. Both have assured their place at the table in the Honduran playoff. Martinez. Martinez. Chance to get this across. Castillo headed back the other way. The whistle had already blown against Crisanto. And as was the case last time Olympia played, fireworks flaring out from outside the venue. Fans who weren't allowed in, aware how close Olympia is to going to a second semifinal in this competition in 4 years. Held on by Pinto. Maintained by Olympia. Rodriguez, and an injured player, Carlos Pineda. Jorge Alvarez comes on. He was out back in the Champions League in March due to knee surgery. He's good now. End of the day for Edwin Rodriguez. Saw some of what makes him so special. Expectation is he was going to be in the mix in Olympic qualifying for Honduras. Now all that's left is the final whistle. It appears Motagua certainly won't have the time to take perfection over the next few minutes. Somehow get this to penalties. Into stoppage time. 3 additional minutes. Melendez. Free kick with Melendez and Hernandez coming to blows. Offside flag is up here. Castillo just never got off the ground today for Motagua. If Castillo scores in the waning minutes of the first half, if Klusener scores instead of banging the crossbar for Motagua minutes before he was sent off, if Motagua has their 2 critical defenders, Montes and Pereira, tonight, could this game be different? And yet, in the 254-page history now, this rivalry, there's always going to be those moments. This Super Classico isn't defined by one moment alone. Over 95 minutes, it's a weaving narrative. And on this day, Olympia is going to snap a 4-match winless streak against their rival from this same venue, hold a clean sheet, and look for their second CONCACAF League title in 4 years. Olympia is going to be among those who have officially clinched their position in the 2021 Champions League. The other semifinalists, they'll take on Alajuelense. Real Esteli of Nicaragua will take on this Motagua team in the play-in round to decide one of the 2 remaining positions in Champions League that'll come out of CONCACAF League this year. So all is not lost for Motagua. But this will certainly sting. For as much was on the line, bragging rights were critical in Tegucigalpa tonight. The referee will let this play on just a little bit longer. And this lion roars again. Olympia, a champion, show their mettle, and Pedro Trollio, such a trying week of mourning, celebrates 2 tremendous goals, Nunez and Flores. And in Super Classico 254, Olympia emerged victorious in Tegucigalpa tonight. For our entire team, Mike Watts saying thanks for watching. It finishes Olympia 2, Motagua Good night.